Is there a journalist with the courage to tell the truth? The ethics and integrity of the scientific community have gone back 500 years. Why the scientific community has suppressed for 21 years and continue to suppress inventions proving to save millions of lives and trillions of dollars? The scientific committee of the Total Body PET Conference Edinburgh in the 22nd 24th September 2021 approves my abstract showing in the results that my 3D CBS invention can save over 100 million lives and over $27 trillion in 30 years. And in the conclusion that an experimental test on a sample population would definitively prove this. But they suppress this information to the world by not allowing me to present it at the conference. The suppression of my invention that could have saved already over 20 million lives and over $10 trillion in the past 20 years is consistent with the action that during the past 21 years by the scientific community, suppressing my scientific book, my articles, my presentations at a scientific conference attended by the influential scientists that decide in the future of research in the field. Just like Galileo book, the dialogue concerning the two chief word system that I provide the reference here was suppressed for 100 years without refuting his calculation and claims that the Earth was not at the center of the universe. Likewise, the scientific community did not refute my calculation and scientific evidence that in my material and method and background section that my invention can save millions of lives and trillions of dollars, but they continue to suppress their benefit for 21 years and do not want the world to know, deny my presentation and the explanation to colleges without including my invention, and they prevent the explanation to the colleagues without including my invention in the agenda for discussion in open public forum and a roundtable like we have at this conference. Why the scientific community does not want to inform the public of the possibility to save millions of lives and trillions of dollars with my invention. Since I was not able to reach the Chancellor of the University of Edinburgh by writing an email to her collaborator, I appealed to journalists to inform the public and Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal Anne of Edinburgh, who holds the position of Chancellor, the highest in the University of Edinburgh, who confers degrees and enhances the profile and reputation of the university on national and global level, asking her to guarantee transparency in science and making the scientific truth for the benefit of humanity emerge from open scientific forum. Like millions of other people in the world, over the past few months, I have witnessed the pain and suffering of a person dear to me, due to the fact that there were no affordable examinations, procedures, or techniques capable of detecting the primary 2.5 centimeter tumor, which with more than 2 billion cancer cells on her appendix that had been present between 4 to 10 years. What happened to her could happen to any of us. The surgeon who operated on the person very dear to me, she operated for 11 hours and 46 minutes, and who performed hundreds of operations on cancer patients, she did not request a PET scan, means a positron emission tomography examination, because she knew from experience that it would not show, that it would show negative result on a small tumor, and she was interested to know. But instead, when she opened the patient's body, she found tumor. So after having requested for a few times the exam and just getting negative result, and later on finding it was not true, that the tumor was there, she decided to save the money and just save the radiation to the patient, and not even asking for it. She preferred instead to request a CAT scan to have a floor plan of the organs to plan her surgery. So she was very practical. She wanted to see the layout and from that plan the surgery. So what is the role of the more than 10,000 PET devices used in hospital? I think and mainly to monitor the effect of a drug or a treatment for large tumors. In a few words, justifying the use of drugs, but that we know that are not always effective. Since 21 years ago, I invented the 3D CBS, 3D complete body screening, which can detect cluster, means a tumor fewer than 100 cancer cells. And on September 16, 2021, I wrote to the participants and organizer of the Total Body PET conference, reporting my sad experience. See below the published on the social media this letter. And this was underlining the importance of every scientist taking responsibility for addressing this problem. In 2019, after 19 years, measurement on less efficient and more expensive copies of my 3D CBS invention proved that my calculation and claim in the book of the year 2000 that can detect cluster with fewer than 100 cancer cells were correct. On September 19, 2021, I reported to Adriana Tavares, chair of the Total Body PET conference, you can see below also this letter, explaining that scientists should provide calculation and scientific argument to support their statement and not providing a score. On the same day, I also wrote to Her Highness the Princess Royal Anne of Edinburgh, Chancellor of the University of Edinburgh. See also below this letter, asking on behalf of the cancer patient and humanity to guarantee transparency in science and making the scientific truth emerge from open forum. And here are the links to the 3 letters that has been published on scientific, on social media, YouTube, Facebook, and blog. So is the ethics and integrity of scientific community gone back 500 years when no one stood up for science, suppressing Galileo's book of the dialogue because no one could refute his calculation and scientific evidence in a dialogue, as no one can refute my calculation and scientific evidence when comparing them in a dialogue with other and showing more advantages and benefits. Their power in the 1500 to suppress the truth stood 100 years by suppressing the dialogue. How long will it last the power to suppress the truth by today's scientific community that continue to suppress the dialogue? This is what is missing today, is the dialogue. I am not the only one raising this concern that we need to fix science. If you read the issue of Scientific American of October 2018, at page 54-55 is stating, funding is largely concentrated in the hands of a few investigators. And then continues, much like mafia clans. This is a very strong statement. I contact the journal and the author, but they don't go behind this generic statement, and they don't want to hear the name of the details. These are really general accusations which do not help to address and fix the problem. Journalists should be open to listen to the details. The organizer of the conference did not correct the mistake of suppressing my presentation, which shows evidence in the abstract to have higher scientific merits and benefit to humanity. They did not, that they could not refute in providing a result in saving millions of lives and trillions of dollars, with the possibility to prove my fundamental claim of saving lives on a sample population, although at a much higher cost on existing machine, copy of my 3D CBS invention that are more expensive and less efficient. None of the other presenters claim their abstract presentation project provide more benefit than mine, and did not give up 10% of their allotted time to let me present the benefit from my abstract to the colleagues. Instead of letting me present my 3DBS life-saving project to the audience and include it in the agenda of the roundtable, 7 hours after sending my last 2 emails, I received the 52 pages with the final copy of the program of the Total Body PET conference, excluding my presentation to the audience and my 3D CBS life-saving project. It was not in the agenda of the topic to be discussed at the roundtable, as I requested. Now that we have all abstract, everyone can see the scientific merit of one project with respect to another. It is relatively easy to make emerge the scientific truth for the benefit of humanity. Last year, the organizer of this conference solicited the submission of abstract being structured in 4 sections: background, material and methods, results, and conclusion. The total number of words should not exceed 300. This includes also the references. And the author could attach 1 figure. The first judge of the scientific merit of each abstract may be the author taking his or her stated expected results, that is typically 2 to 3 lines, so it's easy to read for everybody, and estimate the difference in reduction of cancer death and cost when his or her gadget, idea, program, whatever, is adopted and used by someone in a test on a sample population, and when it's not used. So in the area that is used, it should show some advantages that the author is claiming that will not show in another area that is not used. The difference will determine the contribution of his or her project, and one can see if this matches what the author stated in the conclusion. This verification can be done by a journalist or any person not expert in the field, because the answer is provided by the author, so the journalist should not be knowledgeable on this. But whatever the author say, just journalists can take the statement and that they claim, and then later results itself or the other expert in the field can check the detail on the background and the material and method and see if it sounds okay. I glanced through the 35 abstracts and I just remarked the following on 2 of them, but later I can read more. So the first one is the abstract, and the first abstract at page 7, and the title is a spatial resolution of long axial field of view path designed with monolithic detector, and is a simulation study. The author is Abiyaki. She states in the results, the FWHM of the line profile in both radial and tangential discretion shows a clear improvement when the smaller beams are considered. Well, my comment to this results is that did the author had a doubt that a larger beam could provide an improved resolution with respect to smaller beam? It seems quite natural and obvious to me that the smaller beam will improve the spatial resolution. And why the author is focusing in improving spatial resolution for PET, which is measuring a variable within a time unit, that is counting the valid pair of 511 kiloelectron-volt photon within a second or a minute. This is really using an instrument for trying to obtain a value that is not in agreement with the principle of operation of the instrument. As an example, I would say why a manufacturer of a water meter does not specify that has a resolution of 2 millimeter, but is providing the specification gallon per hour of water or liter per minute of water. The same thing, the tachometer of the of the car is measuring a speed, while a ruler is measuring a distance. An anemometer is measuring the speed of the wind. So really, I cannot figure out why these people cannot understand the difference from a PET from a CAT scan. In fact, the surgeon who removed the tumor from the person dear to me, she requested a CAT scan because she wanted to have a map in millimeter, means a space, a map of the organs, and did not order a PET because it was useless to provide a count per second to detect a small tumor. She did it several times and she realized that the 10,000 PET used in the hospital are not sensitive to show a small tumor, okay? And so in the end, she prefers to have a CAT scan to have a floor plan and plan her surgery. Is your technique of measuring a spatial resolution an improvement or a deteriorated resolution compared to my cluster technique that I describe at page 107, figure 1312 in my book of the year 2000? I obtained that resolution for free with the same circuits used to accurately detect the 511 kiloelectron-volt photons. Why you did not give me 10% of your allotted time so I could tell you and your colleague these things during the past 20 years? Now I go to another, it will be the last one, abstract, is at page 39. This is by the title Biograph Vision Quadra, is from Siemens, a total body scanner. Why, what, and what for? So the title is Biograph Vision Quadra, a total body PET scanner. Why, what, and what for? The author from Siemens, Mario Conti and Bernard Bendriem, state in the conclusion that there was no trace of the result, so there's only the conclusion. The Biograph Vision Quadra, with its sensitivity, good time resolution, and workflow and software features, has the potential of changing clinical practice and open new avenues for research. My comment and question to them, because I had a long standing relation with Siemens from the year 2002. So my first question is, would a 30 millimeter thick BGO crystal, as you have used in your PET 966 Exact 3D that you built before the year 2000, reported at page 47 of my book, provide a higher sensitivity at a lower cost with respect to the 20 millimeter thick expensive LSO crystal used in your 2019 Biograph Vision Quadra? That was the first question. After I solved the inefficiency problem on Siemens PET devices during our 2002 meeting with the president of Siemens Nuclear Medicine, Michael Reiterman, Siemens PET Group Detector William Simchik, with John Engdahl, head of the Advanced Research, and Fred Maciocchi, director of Electronic Group at Siemens. And our meeting, the first one, lasted an entire day and was recorded with the consent of the participants. And after this meeting, they were forced to retract publicly on Siemens' website their incorrect statement that it was not possible to increase the efficiency of their PET device by improving the electronics. And they said instead that they improved 70% the efficiency by improving the electronic. After solving your efficiency problem in 2002, Siemens could have assembled side by side 4 of their device with a 23.4 centimeter field of view, the PET 966 that I mentioned before, the Exact 3D, that was using BGO crystal. Then, by implementing my 3D-CBS device, Siemens could have provided the advantage of a more efficient $200 per screening test using the BGO crystal instead of the LSO crystal using the QuadraVision. So why you came up 19 years later with a device that is less efficient and more costly than the 3D-CBS? The paradigm change in biomedical imaging was set with my book in 2000 that can change any time the clinical practice and open new avenue for research. So in conclusion, I agree that scientific conferences should not only accept abstract and presentation that are at the top of providing advancement in science and maximum reduction in cancer death and cost. However, suppressing my abstract that no one can refute, which provides astounding benefits to humanity, it is outrageous in a civilized society for the damage that is doing not to me, but much more to everyone and future generations. I hope that this can stop and let science advance. Thank you.